So we're with Calvin. He's brought us his Lexus IS200. Do you want to tell us a bit more about it?
Yeah, so it's a year 2000 IS200 Sport. Got it in June 2018. Went through quite a few changes since I got it. Started off sort of pretty standard IS200 Sport. Silver, manual, black interior. So this is a BN Sports kit from 86 Aero, Brian Campbell. It helped me out quite a lot since I got the car. Full fiberglass kit, extremely strong, extremely well fitting.
So it went on all dead on. It wasn't any difficulty to put on.
Very little adjustments, sort of straight fit.
What was the reason you went for the BN Sports over sort of other kits?
So one of the reasons I just like this aggressive style of the BN kit. I've seen a lot of people doing these cars in the States and in Japan, and this kit seemed to be used quite a lot at the time, and I think it suited quite well with the sort of stance sort of style I was going with for the car.
Yeah, it's stunty sort of drift thing going on.
Yeah.
What was your choice for the wheels?
So these are Work Emotion CR2Ps. Bought them about a year ago from Driftworks, and they were custom made for the car in Japan. They're 9.5 in front, 10s in the back, the concave faces in the back.
These always the wheels you had on the car, or?
First of all, last year I ran a set of 720 style 46s. Just sort of the main reason for that was by the time I had done everything else to the car, the budget just wasn't really there for a set of 2-piece or 3-piece split wheels.
You just wanted to go for something to fit the kit better, or?
Yeah, sort of always the goal for the car was to have a set of white wheels with polished lips.
Colour wise, how come you went for red?
One of my friends, you'll see him on the channel, he's got the red GT86. Always sort of looking at that car and looking at these, red was the colour that really stood out to me.
Yeah.
It was bright.
Obviously that's not the original grille on it as well. Come on the car.
Oh, it's a Toyota Altezza grille. Rather than going for a Lexus grille, I wanted the chrome grille to match with the wheels and the sort of style of the car. And there's nothing available like that.
Yeah, just that
Lexus
real jump
badge.
style.
Yeah.
And the tinted headlights and stuff on in there too.
Yeah, they were split for me, lenses polished, inserts painted black, and the reflectors tinted yellow.
What about the interior of the car? What do you run on the inside?
Just recently there, put those Corbeau Club Sport seats in. Likewise gear knob, drift button, detachable steering wheel, Vertex steering wheel. Nothing too crazy at the moment.
How come you went for those seats?
So originally I had a set of Bride Lomax replicas in the car. They were red and a pain to keep clean, a pain to look after.
Yeah, just constantly getting dirty.
Yeah, and
Right, okay. I suppose
sorta-
black's better kept.
it's wanted it to be easier to keep, and as well as that they were Bride replicas, sort of the goal was to always put a genuine seat in.
Right, okay.
And these came up locally for a good price, and they were in exceptional condition, so couldn't pass up the opportunity really.
And are you tracking the car? Is that the reason you've got track seats in it?
Yeah, well, the idea of the car was always to build a show car that I could do a bit more with. This year I've started to, I've took it to a couple of Eglinton drift days and things like that. I really enjoyed it.
So it's more future-proofing it for any modifications you need to do for the track in future. You can
Yeah, it's
you can
just
stick the harnesses in it, and if you cage or anything down the line.
the seats, partly for the look of them, they go for the motorsport style, but as well as that, they're really functional. They hold
they're
you in really
functional
well when you are tracking the car or you are driving the car hard.
So obviously they're not the standard rear lights.
No, these are LED lights. Sort of, I like the style of the reds and the chrome on the bottom. The LEDs is a little bit modern, too modern for the car, but I just think they look really good compared to anything else out there for these.
Obviously the Lexus stuff, it's normally the clear lights
Yeah.
is what Lexus would be known for.
And it's cool and all, but sort of whenever I seen these, whenever I was starting to buy things for the car, I had to have a set.
And the red mood ties in better with the car as well, the
Yeah.
colour and stuff of it. I see you've got a lot of bits and pieces painted sort of the gloss black there too.
Yeah, just sort of to break up the red a little bit.
And the gold badge, how'd that come about? Or
So that's actually a Lexus, a genuine Lexus gold badge. Would have came on Dom IS400s, SC 400s, things like that. And I thought it went really well with the rev, as well as being something that's quite difficult to get.
yeah, it's just that unique wee touch to it.
Yeah.
And your exhaust here, what sort of exhaust are you running?
So it's a full 2.5-inch stainless into these 3-inch shotguns done by Limitless Garage, all TIG welded. But it worked really well with the style of the bumper for them to sit out a little bit and one shorter than the other.
Yeah, again, that job style. So do you want to pop the bonnet and tell us a bit more about what engine's in it?
Started off as a standard IS200 2 litre, kept buying for a year. I was able to learn how to drive the car a little bit and get used to driving a rear-wheel drive. Then the plan always was to go for something bigger, so I ended up buying a Lexus IS200. Extremely clean car. It was a sin really to break it up, but put in this 1UZ PBTI 4-litre V8. It's a fairly common swap for these cars. Got the full conversion kit from a friend of mine over at MCL AutoWorks. Full wiring them from Phoenix Engine Management.
So it's a tried and tested setup, you know, it's not gonna...
it was the first engine swap we've done, so I wanted something that had plenty of
Yeah, any
advice.
problems you have with it, you can
Yeah.
give someone to talk to.
I wanted something that had plenty of advice and someone that had plenty of knowledge to be able to help me if I had any problems. So I run the IS200 6-speed manual box with that as part of the MCL kit too, and honestly drives the way the car did standard, apart from plenty more power and torque.
So obviously it's definitely a upgrade from the previous engine. What power is it making? Or
I haven't actually dynoed the car, but it should be in and around the 300 brake mark, 300 foot-pound of torque. The engine's unopened, completely standard, apart from this 3-inch stainless intake and the 2.5-inch exhaust from the manifold back. Complete decat, just run 2 silencers to keep the police happy.
and are you doing anything else to the engine you think future, or you just keeping it the way it is?
Could go 2 ways with it. I could put something like an ECU Master Black or a Link G4 and try and squeeze a little bit more power out of the V8.
Yeah. Are you finding you need that track wise? You think it needs more power? Or are you happy enough? It's
Definitely doesn't need it.
Yeah.
I definitely don't need it, but everyone wants more power.
everyone wants more power, yeah. You'll never say no to it.
And the engine this year has given no issues whatsoever. Just added on a few mods to help it cool better with this large Mishimoto radiator, Mishimoto power steering cooler, and everything on the engine itself is completely standard. It would be good to go maybe something with a turbo, 1J, 2J.
I was going to ask about.
Some people do turbo these V8s, especially the earlier ones, because they are good for a lot more power, but really, in my opinion, the room is not there in an IS200 to be able to do that.
Yeah.
A lot of people have done it, but I've yet to see anybody do it in a tidy way that I would be happy with myself.
You can see the cars probably not on coilovers here,
No.
with it sitting at that height. You're on air ride.
Yeah, so car from the outset with me has been on airlift performance suspension with 3P management. Had airlift in my last car as well, and in my opinion it's the way to go if you want something that's touching the ground on the floor and you still want to be able to drive it without the problems of static. Been there, I've done that. I wouldn't really want to go back to it.
Yeah.
Kids give no issues in the past 2 years that it's been in. I had to do some mods to get it to handle as good as a set of coilovers. There's a hog race front anti-roll bar in there. I had to do some adjustments to the rear anti-roll bar just to get it to handle really well. But
Yeah, you said you had it in for the shows, but you're tracking it as well, so
yeah, so and now it handles just as good as any set of coilovers for one of these cars. Wouldn't ask for any more out of it.
yeah, so you definitely recommend it. I know people have fears and stuff of maybe tracking the car with air right in it. Nowadays, you're saying the technology's there. You don't really.
Yeah, if anybody that says bags handle bad has probably never driven a car with a set of good bags in it. They've maybe driven something years past. The bags now are as good as any set of coilovers. You can drive it just as well if you set it up correctly. It still has adjustable damping. It still has, like, you don't really lose anything. Yes, you set the car up slightly differently because it has bags, but it's just as good, and it has its perks as well.
Did you put the bags in yourself, or?
Yeah, so
what was that sort of like? I know a lot of people would maybe.
I would work with that sort of thing for a living, with pneumatics, electronics. So between me and a couple of my mates,
The knowledge was there.
Yeah, we fitted it, and we just took our time fitting it and made sure everything was done right. And it's been 2 years now. I haven't had to redo anything. Everything's been 100%. Hasn't got any issues. So I can definitely recommend air ride for people who are sort of can weigh up the difference between air and static.
You've built a lot of the car. What about the brakes?
So these are 4-pot 320mm brakes off the LS400 donor car I had on the front, just with a set of decent pads and some drilled and grooved discs. And on the back we're just on the standard IS200 setup with a decent set of pads and discs, just not drilled and grooved. If you're doing a big burnout, I don't really want that sort of heat going through the rear discs. The drilled and grooved are more prone to cracking, so that's why I've gone for that setup.
So we're not having the car up on a ramp today, so we can't get underneath it. Is there anything sort of in around the bottom of it you've changed there?
So really nothing's been left untouched underneath this car. Everything's been stripped back, blasted, powder coated, poly bushed. All the rear arms have been changed out for some KFD arms from Russia. The front arms are on KFD as well. It's just to be able to give me the camera and the adjustment I needed to set the car up how I want it, and to be able to get the wheels fitting exactly how I wanted them. I wouldn't go as far as saying this car is a restoration, but everything has been cleaned up and powder coated, undersealed, and I just needed to make everything good underneath it.
What did you go tyre wise? I forgot to ask.
Tyres from Westlakes in the front, 215/40/18. Great car, steers exactly where I want it. And on the backs, at the minute there's a set of Dunlops on there. Just always try to go for something decent.
Just changing it, I suppose, with the different drift days and stuff you're going to, testing out what works the best for you.
I've run a couple of different tyres. I found the running a better tyre definitely completely transformed the car, especially when I was drifting, to be able to have the grip to actually get the car moving on track, and as well as on the road, sort of instead of lighting up every gear every time you put the foot down. Actually picks up a bit of grip, especially when you are drifting. You can sort of sit with people a bit better on track.
It's some build. Like, how long does it took you overall, you think, from when you first got the car to its state at the minute?
The June 2018 I started almost straight away changing things in the car. I'm still changing things on the car, just as sort of an ongoing thing. But
I was going to ask that, is this, it's obviously not completed. What's your future plans for the car? Or
never be completed. I'll always change,
constantly changing.
I'll always sort of chase perfection. Anything that I think could be better, I will make better.
Yeah. Is there anything sort of crazy putting on the car? Do you think exterior wise it's going to look similar? Or
exterior wise, I've got
no crazy arches or anything? No.
I've considered it. I don't think I'll ever cut this car up.
Yeah.
If I'm honest, and put some big arches on it. I do love them, just how they look, stock body. Exterior wise, really happy with the car. Maybe down the line change a few things. I do have some small bits being made at the moment.
Right. Okay.
The car.
Yeah.
I'll change it a little bit. But
overall, pretty happy. Just small things then. And
yeah, really happy with the car.
What it needs as it comes.
Yeah, it drives great. In my opinion, it looks great.
It's fit for purpose. Does exactly what you need it for.
I've done exactly what the goal was whenever I decided to go with one of these.
Long time ownership, then you're not going to be selling it, or it's not, you know, the way people maybe buy a car, build it, and then move it on. You think this is going to be something you keep around for a long time yet?
Yeah, well, sort of no plans to get rid of the car anytime soon. Anybody that knows me knows I sort of hold on to the cars for quite a long time. And almost unbelievable to me too, but the value of these cars is going up quite rapidly, and partly because of that, there's another reason to hold on to it for quite a long time, I'm sure.
It's a very different IS200, especially over here in Northern Ireland. They're all done a certain way. This one's quite unique. Thanks for explaining to us.
Well, thank you very much.
How's it going? I'm just back from filming today. Just want to say thank you for watching the video, and if you have a car yourself you maybe want us to check out, give us a shout, like, and we can sit and talk about the build and same thing as today. And also please like, share and subscribe. Means a lot. Thanks very much.